When I ask you, do you believe in God or man? What's the name of the show? There's power in question. Okay. I got another question for you then. What if you have all the power truly and you actually create your heaven and or hell? Just like being in quote unquote gangs, you are held responsible for what you profess with your mouth. So if you say you of this gang and you don't know the lick, you don't know how to stand, you don't know which east or west to face, you don't know which way to turn your hat, you don't know which way to hang your flag, you become responsible for what you profess with your mouth. So you also have to deal with the consequences of not doing what comes with being what you profess. There's actually a scripture in the Bible where they talk about that, how valuable your words are. But I can give you a story. How about this? Since we're talking about, do you believe in God or man? There's a story. I don't know if I talked about it on the show, but I know I told this to a few people. But there's a story in the Bible of a guy, I believe his name is Jephthah. That's my best way of pronouncing that name. I'm not the greatest reader of all times, but that's what it looked like, what I remember. Jephthah is how I sounded it out in my mind. So quick story. So in the Bible, Jephthah is this brother, and he's like, I think he's like a bastard. I think his mother is different. I think he had 3 brothers, 2 or 3 brothers. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the whole story, but I remember a lot of it. So they didn't like him because he wasn't a legitimate child. He wasn't from their mother and father. He was from, I think, a different mother. But he's also a great warrior. But I think they like ran him out, made fun of him. But Jephthah loved his brother so much, even though they treated him like that. So I think they finally got him to leave and run away. He moved somewhere with him and his wife. So they start fighting, I think, the Philistines. I think they fighting the Philistines at this time in the Bible. They losing. So they like, let's go get Jephthah. Jephthah can fight. And they like, man, Jephthah might not help us. Come on, we just treated him like that all that time and then kicked him out. He not going to help us. They like, hey, what's going to hurt to go try and find out? So they go to Jephthah, bring it to him. Jephthah loving his brothers like he do. Yeah, I help y'all. Y'all my brothers. Of course I'm going to be there. So before Jephthah leaves to go to war, he decides to go to God and he asks God. And I'm paraphrasing, but I believe he asked God something basically like, I should do it in a Q way, but I feel like I shouldn't. Not right now. But I believe Jephthah was telling God, if you allow me to defeat my enemy and protect my brothers, when I get back, I'll give you the first thing as a sacrifice that emerges from my home. This is what Jephthah tells God. So Jephthah goes to war. Boom, they win. Hooray. They win the battle. He comes back, and I believe his daughter was like 12 or 14 or something like that. And she comes out. So now that's the first thing to emerge from your home. And you just told God if you win the battle, you would sacrifice it to God. So I believe it said like his daughter was a virgin. She didn't know of a man's touch. So she had to go in the wilderness with his ladies and whatever. And then because that's how I guess he taught his daughter, she had belief and faith like that. And she seemed to be willing. From what I read, it seems like she was willing also to sacrifice herself to God because it was what her father said. The thing that trips me out with that story, when did God come and say, yeah, man, you want to win the war? Offer me your daughter. Or did you just profess this with your mouth and come responsible by your own volition? You did this on your own. You came up with this by yourself, that if you win the war, God helped you win the war, and you're going to give the first thing that come out your mouth. First off, who helps you write contracts? Why is that a thing that you're even coming up with? I don't remember God asking you to say this. I don't remember God saying, yeah, give me the daughter like you promised. And from what I remember reading, sounds like it was all Jephthah. He professed something with his mouth, threw God in it. God was probably chilling, probably thinking like, man, I should make another universe. He's like, what Jephthah say? He was like, oh, they ain't got nothing to do with me. Let Jephthah be Jephthah. Jephthah tripped. He ain't finna do all that. Yeah, Jephthah probably gonna win that battle. He know he from my house, so he know he got this. Jephthah killed his daughter. I'm just imagining. Just imagine that's how God looked at it. But you see what I mean when I say that you can be held responsible for what you profess with your mouth. As I always tell people, the real devil, like even if you look at the devil in the story of the Bible, right? God created the devil. Did we forget this part? The devil is not the reflection of God. The devil is God's creation. That's like if you went outside on Halloween or whatever, right? Or you just wearing a costume and you wear the costume of a criminal, right? And you start committing crime. And then when they arrest your stupid self, they come up and say, why you do it? And you be like, the costume made me do it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You wore a costume, so you're acting like something. It doesn't mean that the costume made you do it.